Some people ask me during this pandemic, what is God trying to tell us? Or why is God doing this to the world? To try to put words into God's mouth is really chutzpahdik, or at least quite tricky. However, if we want to come out with answers, we can look into our holy texts. We can look into our Torah. And as usual, I am in awe with the timely message of the Parashat of this week, double Parashat Tazria-Metzora. It talks mostly about a skin eruption, a skin condition that people would have in biblical times. This skin eruption was not physical in nature. It was spiritual in nature. And the Talmud gives a list of reasons, of causes for the skin eruption that included bloodshed, robbery, false oaths, sexual misconduct, pride, selfishness. However, there are two things that would stand out as the causes for the skin eruption, and that was slander and gossip. We call this lashon hara. All the causes, all the reasons for the skin eruption actually have a common denominator. It's an insensitivity to others, and also a tremendous amount of egocentricity. So, what did people have to do when they noticed the skin eruption? They would go first to see the Kohen, the priest. And the Kohen would identify whether this eruption was physical in nature. If it's physical in nature, you're going to see the doctor, put some ointment, and there you go. If it's spiritual in nature, then it's another story. You need to go in quarantine. During this quarantine, people would be moved to do some work of introspection. And hopefully, this work of introspection would result in teshuvah, because we would identify the cause of this physical ailment that we had. Now, we need to know that this ailment does not exist anymore. However, we do know that most of our ailments, mental illness, physical illness, most find their causes into our lifestyles. Whether it's stress or anger management, whatever it is, it manifests as physical disease. Now, if we're trying to understand what God is trying to tell us, or tell the world, maybe we can identify what this plague is doing. Is this plague causing the world to improve morally? In which case, we're going in the right direction. But if the plague causes the world to deteriorate morally, then this is the worst disease, the worst plague, the worst situation, the worst disaster. We are all a microcosm of the world. So whatever God is telling the world, God is telling us too. And we need to do this work of introspection also. Is this plague causing me to deteriorate morally, which would be a terrible thing? Or is this plague causing me to improve morally, which would indicate that I'm going in the right direction because I would be more conscious. I would be more mindful. I'm becoming a better person. You know, lately, most of people are afraid to touch other things, are afraid to touch things that other people might have touched and become contaminated. And so we touch things and we want to get purified. We wash our hands, we use sanitizer in order to be pure. People are afraid to breathe the same air as other people. If we could be as mindful about the things that come out of our mouth and about the things that we do, then we would be going definitely in the right direction. And this is definitely a message from the Torah, a message for God, for all of us during this time. I wish you a peaceful Shabbat, a Shabbat of healing, a Shabbat of light, a Shabbat of mindfulness, a Shabbat of higher consciousness with great love. Shabbat Shalom.